President Barry Jagdeo says he is pleased that efforts are being made to tap into Guyana's vast oil wealth as two companies announce intentions to start exploration before the month ends.
Nurses at the Linden Hospital complex continue their protest in shock and fear at the raping of one of their colleagues while on duty.
And Army ranks demolish stalls and abandon shacks along the Cheddi Jagan International Airport as officials deal with the issue of security.
Business News eye on the judiciary, health tips, and of course the latest sporting action in the Diamond Mineral Water and NCN Sport News and more after these. Good evening, I'm Delicia Fletcher.
And I'm Paul Moore.
With this edition of the 6 o'clock news for today, Friday, September 12, 2008. Here's what's happening, Paul.
Thanks, Delicia. President Barry Jagdeo says the implementation of the Economic Partnership Agreement could cost CARICOM nations billions of dollars. He notes that despite this and the many other negatives in the deal, heads are still ashamed to push for the European Union to reconsider the deal. Here are details.
We yet have to see what it will cost us. It may cost us millions of dollars. And this was the point that Haiti was making. Haiti was saying, you know, we wrote the RNM and said, this is our bottom line. And then when we saw the final text, we saw something very different. So you have to change those things. And they were talking about funding for implementation because that can come from their own treasury. So it is yet to be determined. The impact over time, I know that the sensitivity analyses were done here in Guyana. I don't remember the exact figure, but maybe it would probably run into a few $billion.
The president says while heads are aware of this, he feels that they are more caught up in the so-called economic benefits Europe has outlined in the deal. The Guyanese leader says he is fearful that the most favored nations clause in the EPA will affect CARICOM's cooperation with South-South partners, which has been a feature in economic development for decades. He said some South American partners are very important, and the MFN clause will now force CARICOM to extend to Europe the same treatment that it extends to large partners in the South.
Guyana sits on the border with Brazil. Guyana may be interested in having a better agreement with Brazil than it has with the European Union because of our proximity, because of our special circumstances. But this agreement undermines that approach.
CARICOM leaders said that reconsidering segments of the deal and delaying it in the interest of CARICOM would be old and socialist thinking. And Mr. Jagdeo says while they may be right in some ways, this should not stop the region from forcing a review of the agreement.
We should never be ashamed of this. And some people are so seduced, so enamored by the rhetoric of free trade and neoliberalism. And some of our policy advisors can't think outside that block, outside of neoliberalism, that they feel ashamed if they fight to protect the interests of this region because it doesn't accord with some priority of the developed world, or they may be seen by the developed world as being backward.
He argued that the developed countries, on the contrary, fight to protect their interests unashamedly. All CARICOM countries have decided to sign a full EPA with the EU by October 15, with the exception of Guyana and Haiti, who expressed reservations about the deal. During the national consultations here in Guyana, former head of the CARICOM regional negotiating machinery, Sir Sridhar Ramphal, had called on CARICOM leaders not to sign the EPA until they meet with their African counterparts next month. This call went unheeded. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.
And President Jagdeo also said yesterday during his press briefing that he was pleased that efforts are being made to tap into Guyana's vast oil wealth offshore. This comment came after CGX Oil Explorer and U.S. oil company ExxonMobil announced their intentions to begin exploration before month end. Here again is Edward Lane.
Will commence a seismic search in the concession granted off Guyana's coast in the Corentyne River within weeks. Meanwhile, CGX Energy Inc. on Tuesday formally announced it is resuming the search for crude oil deposits in partnership with another firm in a concession off the Guyana shore with a more modern high-tech program. In a statement received here, the company confirmed that a three-dimensional seismic program will begin late this month to better locate huge oil deposits previously surveys have indicated are in the concession block. In light of this, President Jagdeo expressed his satisfaction that some effort is being made in this area.
I'm pleased that they're going. I have been having discussions with them, the various companies. They've shown me their schedule for exploration and drilling, and we're trying to accelerate these.
In June 2000, CGX was forced to halt a drilling program off the Caribbean coast after gunboats from the Suriname Navy ordered the crew and hired rig out of the zone, which they claimed were their territory. However, Guyana took the case to the International Tribunal on the Law of the Sea, and after almost 3 years of deliberations, an award in Guyana's favor was handed down. This preserved 93% of CGX quarantine license as being in this country's territory. Guyana said last month that it had licensed CGX Resources Incorporated, YPF Guyana Limited, ESO Exploration and Production Guyana Limited to conduct petroleum exploration operations in their respective contract areas. The government said a seismic acquisition operation is expected to last 5 months off the Berbice coast bordering Suriname and Demerara of Georgetown. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.
Army ranks based at Temeri has carried out an operation to demolish some of the abandoned shacks alongside the Cheddi Jagan International Airport. NCN understands that this exercise aims at improving security at the airport following recent thefts of runway lights and equipment. More in this Akila Jacobs report.
Some abandoned shacks and houses in close proximity to the airport were dismantled by Army ranks earlier today. When NCN visited the area, some of the structures were already torn down, while one shack was in the process of being demolished. Irate vendors had to be restrained by police ranks. Vendors confirmed that they received notices of eviction as recent as 2 months, but were told they will be relocated before their shacks are demolished.
So, no, they said in the agreement that they would relocate us first, and they tell us that they would give us money. And let us give them $800,000 each ton, right, to build the mall before they move us. Right? Well, that fall through because we suggested that there would be a rip-off because the size of mall and the amount of money they're asking for, it way over. Right? So we didn't agree. Right? And we didn't agree. So this is what they do now. Come this morning and start breaking without giving nobody notice that they would start breaking down or so.
No notice. This morning I went in Suicide and my child father came and tell me that some people break in the houses. So I say I coming up now. By the time I ready for bed and the phone ring, Maki tell me that they're breaking me place. So I said, what you doing? He said he ain't doing nothing. I tell him lie down in the middle of the place so they don't break it, but he said he can't do nothing. By the time I reach up, they don't break and they went on the way breaking all the houses. They just came this morning. I know I get calls that how they breaking out my shop and I come for take off me zing them and still ain't allowing for take it off.
Yeah, so
just I don't take off a whole set of wood. I tell them wait like move the wood. They tell me about move from there. The police them. Plus the police and the soldier do that.
NCN also understands that a meeting was held with residents in the area yesterday with the GPL's CEO to inform them that their electricity will be disconnected by September 30th to now be independently hooked up with the power company. Community leader Barbara Walters told NCN that she was surprised by today's action following yesterday's meeting.
This is a sad day for us because, the people here are poor. And some people started the building and they weren't even able to complete it. And they just bulldoze it down. They got some people now don't have anywhere to go. Where will they go? And some are employees of the airport. At least, before you do that to a person, you have to locate somewhere for them and put a structure on it for them. You can't just go and, break down people's house like that. You're creating more homelessness. We're going to go on the pavement and sit down. That's what we're going to do. And then by doing this, they're creating a situation with the security of the airport also.
NCN understands that 13 unoccupied buildings were earmarked for removal. Reporting for the NCN News, Akila Jacobs.